What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 19 of the TAAP Show Live podcast. What's going on, Dre?
What up, boss? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Good to see you again, bro. You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, boss.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
come on,
all the way on the far end of the world, bro. You out there in Japan, huh?
man. It's already nighttime. Shoot, it's morning time where you at, right?
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, I really just got back 3 in the morning. We had a game last night. We
Yeah,
played Leicester.
yeah.
And yeah, we down here in Plymouth, so we at the bottom of the country. So all the bus rides are quite a journey, but we here today. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you joining the show. You feel
Yeah,
me? I know we teamed up for a quick little stint with the Surrey Scorchers, man.
yeah.
You was a good guy, bro. I always loved your game. Uh, you one of the few post players that's still doing back to the basket work. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
it's underappreciated in today's game. You know what I mean? And as well as you could definitely defend the rim and definitely dunk on a few heads. I've seen you do that quite a few times. So yeah, bro, I had to get you on the show because I salute all the post players. You know what I mean? It's kind of a guards league nowadays,
Yeah,
but you know, still you can't win without a big man. I feel like so.
yeah.
Yeah, man, glad to have you on the show, bro.
You guys being
And
here, bro. I appreciate it.
yeah,
It's an honor.
yeah. For everybody on the show, this is Emondre Rickman. I'm gonna let him introduce yourself. Like I said, he's a professional basketball player doing his thing. Just quickly, just tell the people about your basketball journey and how you got to become a pro.
All right. Well, like you said, my name's Emondre Rickman. We initially met kind of during peak COVID in the UK. We both played in Surrey for a short amount of time. That's how we initially met. But my basketball journey, so that would have been what my second year. Yeah, it would have been my second year. Me and you met.
Mm-hmm.
But going into it, it's funny. It's funny you asking me my journey. I do a lot of camera work as well, and I'm trying to put a video out because I have a lot of people who ask me like, well, what's it like playing overseas? What's your journey like and stuff like that. So like,
Mm-hmm.
since I do stuff with my camera, I kind of want to put something together to show people. So it's fun. I got like my notes put up on my laptop because what you're asking me is literally like what the video I'm trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
But about my basketball journey and like how did I become a pro? I guess it started like my senior year of college.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I had the mindset of like
Hold on, you got. I didn't mean to cut you off. Take us way back from when the very beginning when you first started playing to like the middle
way,
school, high school days, everything in between. Because like you said, bro, it's a show for like just to inform the young generation and everybody about what it's like playing
I
overseas and
got you. I
the
got you.
journey. So yeah, tell us about that.
Okay, so way back. I guess initially I didn't even I guess want to play basketball.
Mm.
Back in elementary school, my mom she forced me to go try out. I was one of the biggest kids in my school, so I tried out and it worked out for me. I was big,
Mhm.
clumsy because I was hitting my growth spurts back in elementary school.
Mhm.
But I guess you know how they say like it takes a village, right? I guess I had a really good support system, both family and coaching staff,
For
and
sure.
my teammates. They all supported me and they kept motivating me to go
Mhm.
further. And it's funny, my first year playing basketball in fourth grade, we won our little not state or whatever, but like our little conference
Like count,
championship.
yeah, conference championship. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was my first time playing basketball, so I'm like, man, that's fun. I enjoy like these group of guys. I enjoy like the brotherhood that we made. So I'm like, man, I kind of want to do this again. Like the season's over. Like can't wait for next season already. And that's
Yeah.
when I first found out about summer basketball.
Mhm.
We took the same group of guys from our elementary class, and we started our own first year summer league team in the area, and we just played other small local teams. But it was nice. It was something I had never experienced before,
Mhm.
and it opened my eyes to something so great to come.
Right.
Um, and in the years to come, I guess I was still on the fence of like, man, do I really want to like play sports? And
Mm.
my mom never let me quit. She didn't let me give up on
Shout
myself.
out to
So
your
I
mom, man.
know
I had a mom just like that. Yeah.
I really got to give all my thanks to her, because if it weren't for
Mm-hmm.
her, I wouldn't be anywhere remotely near where I'm at basketball wise.
Mm.
Um, but keeping going, like it it just worked out. I kept coming into contact with great coaches, coaches who didn't give up,
Mm-hmm.
and great teammates who pushed me. Going into high school, I had I was put into a situation where I was allowed to be the main event, the main big.
All right.
I switched schools, I switched cities, so I switched schools, and the school that I would have, if I had stayed, it would have been a situation where I would have had to compete with other top tier players, which isn't a bad thing, but it was a play. It gave me an opportunity to showcase myself, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was another great opportunity for me. And then in my summer league teams, I had a pretty great coach. His name's Coach Dana Morgan, of the Southern Illinois Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy, and the people who he brought on his staff and his team, it was amazing, because again, they didn't give up on me. They gave me opportunity after opportunity, and it showed, because come like my senior year of high school, that's when my offers came in, and and I was I was slim, but I was freaky athletic, so I was catching putbacks, put a lot of putback dunks, easy dunks, easy hook shots, layups left and right. And one of the first offers I got was from Indiana State. And
Mm-hmm.
when the summer league all came to an end, and it was time for me to make my decision, I
Mm-hmm.
sat down with my AAU coach, Coach Dana, with my dad, and myself. We all sat down at dinner, and he said, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to text your top five, send them a text message, and whatever school can get you in the soonest.
Mm-hmm.
That's the university or the program that wants you the most." And Indiana State got back to me ASAP. They got me in 2-3 weeks later,
Yeah.
and that was the first visit I took, and it was the last visit I took. I committed right there on the spot.
Mm.
Um, I had a pretty good career at Indiana State.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't make a tournament, unfortunately, but it was still a good time, and I learned a lot, and I got to meet a lot of good people while I was at
Mm-hmm.
Indiana State. I think one thing I pride myself on while I was there, I wish I could have went further, but I finished number 4 in all-time blocks in school history.
Mm.
Um,
Big time.
and I feel like that's a good thing to have on the resume, right?
For sure. And as a basketball fan, that's where the school Larry Bird went to school, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
that's awesome. So like, yeah, I mean, you not number one, but you are forever living the history books up there, and that's something to be proud of for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Um, but my career there, it was pretty good. Um, met some great people, and a lot of people who I played alongside there. I got a couple people playing pro now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I guess everybody in college say they want to play at the next level. They want to go NBA and et cetera, et cetera. And that was my mindset going in. Um, but as we all know, college is a grind, and sometimes you run into some difficult coaches. I
Yep.
didn't have a difficult coach, but he was very tough. He had a military style coaching method.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and after 4 years of that, it kind of burnt out on me. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of made me burnt out a little bit. So
Yep.
that's where I start now, or where I was trying to start. Going into like my senior year, I had the feeling like, man, like after graduation, I kind of want to just get on with life.
Right.
But
Right.
there was the start of senior year. I came in with that mindset, but also, every college season they have like their preseason tournament at a location. We
Mm-hmm.
had ours in Hawaii that year, and we were playing UNLV, and I just so happened to have a pretty good game. It was a game where I had a career high, and
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my agent. I talked to my agent about how he came across me, and his story was he just so happened to be at his in-laws' house scrolling on TV that day, and he just so happened to come across our game. And he said, "I got the audio right here too, because I made him record it for the video I'm making." But
Yeah.
he said, "Man, like I'm just sitting on my in-laws' couch scrolling through TV, and I'm seeing like who's this big dude running the floor well, blocking shots left and right, dunking the ball, finishing strong." And ever since then, I was on his radar. And you know, like agents can't reach out to college athletes, you know, so early in the season. So
Yeah.
I get a follow from this guy, and I'm like, man, this guy got to be fake. It's just fake,
Mm.
scam, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I finish out the rest of my season, and it comes to a point where he's able to contact me.
Hmm.
And initially, again, I was hesitant because I'm like, man, I don't know if I really want to, you know, keep playing.
Right.
He said, how about, you know, it's an opportunity for you to, you know, travel the world, you know, still play basketball, do what you love, talk it
Hmm.
over with your family, see what they have to say, and get back to me. He wasn't rushing, you know, he wasn't rushing me. He didn't pressure me, and that was something
Hmm.
I felt comfortable with. Um, I went, sat down with my family, and you know, I come from a pretty, I come from a place where, you know, a lot of brothers like me and you know, we don't really get that opportunity.
For sure.
So,
Yeah.
um, my family, they say, you know, how many other chances are you going to get to travel the world and to play basketball on top of that?
Mm.
So they said, give it a shot. Um, called Drew, my agent, back, and I signed with them. Still very hesitant, but I signed with them, and that was how I kind of got into it.
Mm.
So how I became a pro, I would say I was just playing hard. Like, you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. And you know, you always hear that in AAU ball and high school ball, you never know who's watching you. And
Hmm.
it truly was the case. You
Yeah.
never know who's watching you.
Yeah, man. That's an awesome story, bro. And it's just funny because, like, as I talk to people on this podcast, especially basketball players, we all share the similar stories. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, you know, you talked about your mom, you know, not letting you give up and like kind of not forcing you to play basketball, kind of like nudging you into like, you know, a field where you feel uncomfortable, and then look at you, you end up being a professional basketball
Mm-hmm.
player, and you grew and blossomed as a person because of that. And then, you know, it's a great thing you shared. Like, you wasn't sure about if you wanted to be a pro after college, because I know a lot of guys go into college wanting to play at the next level, but then,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, it's so many factors that go into it. The competition level, um, guys simply just you realizing like it's guys out here that's just better than you and like destined to make the NBA, and you just
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, you love the
Yeah.
game, you put in the work for the game, but you still not at that level. And then also, what you saying, having a military style coach, I had the exact same type thing. And like, if you didn't truly love the game,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many guys exit that team just because it was just too much to handle coming from my coach. So, you know,
Absolutely.
salute to you for, you know, sticking with it, and then just, and I know it was as much as it was a basketball growth journey for you, I know it was a personal growth journey for you, like going from a boy to a man, and you know
Absolutely.
you at where you at now. So yeah, bro, that's a beautiful story, great story, and I know you got a bright future with this professional basketball grind. You know what I mean? So how many years have you been playing
Yeah.
pro
This
overseas?
will be this will be my fourth year, year
Okay,
four.
so where have all you played at?
Uh, Initially, coming straight out of college, I played I did about a month or two in Ecuador,
Hmm.
and then from there I went to Portugal. Um, After Portugal, that's when COVID broke loose.
Yeah.
Um, I was fortunate enough to sign with Surrey.
Hmm.
Um, After Surrey, I went to Austria. Um, After I had a really good coach in Austria.
Yeah. You
I
was out
think
there with Connor Cash, all right?
yeah, I was out there with Cash.
That boy Connor, what up, Connor? I know you ain't in the live right now, but if you ever see it, what
Man,
up, Connor?
yep.
Yeah,
Um, it was really nice being paired up with him. You know, familiar face,
yeah,
familiar point guard, knowing his style and all that.
yeah. I love
Um,
playing with Connor
it
for sure.
was great. Came home from Austria, and I got the opportunity to turn right back around and go up to the CBL up in Canada.
Mm.
same league as J. Cole when he went up
Yeah, that's a big time league, especially for like the summertime leagues for sure.
there. Yeah. And then I realized I realized how old I was getting. And I'm super young, but I realized how old I was getting. So I'm like, man,
I was about to say, don't start with the old, but go ahead.
doing a full season and then coming around doing a quick stint like that.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, I need some time off, and so
yeah. You're
my
right about that.
he let me take some time off, and now here I am. I was fortunate enough to find a team in here in Japan,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it's nice because across every athlete's journey, you make connections, and it's nice seeing some familiar faces in different leagues.
Mm-hmm.
One person I know here that I know you know as well,
Mm.
but unfortunately I don't get to play against him is Ryan Richards.
Right,
He's out
right.
here,
Yeah.
but our schedules we don't play each other no more.
Damn. That would have been
It would
dope.
have
But
been a
yeah,
good match.
and I'm glad you talked about where you've been too, because like that's the thing with overseas basketball. Sometimes can things can go your way. Sometimes things come up during the season where like it'd be a short season, you don't get to finish out the full season. And I've been in situations like you said where you kind of playing back to back. Like you might finish up the season here and then get a good opportunity to just play in it, whether it be a summer league or just in between. You know what I mean? Not really having a off season or a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that as well. And like you said, you felt old. That was taxing on my body as well. Like you said, it's a great opportunity for sure to keep the money coming in, keep playing basketball, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you feel like your body's still in good shape. But
Absolutely.
honestly, man, going through, I don't know, 5 or 6 months of a basketball season is very taxing on your body. And you kind of have to put it through a break for it to recharge and
Yes.
get back to performing at a high level. Because, yeah, I did that actually 2 years straight. You know what I mean? I did it
Yeah.
from 2017 and I did it in 2018. I was out in Australia in
Uh-huh.
between. And very good leagues out there. I really enjoyed playing basketball out there. But, man, I had developed plantar fasciitis. I had that coming into Surrey
Wow.
Scorchers, actually. And that was like 2 years after the fact. That was around like 2020, 21, and I was still having problems for playing year-round basketball. So, like I said, we hear that for the young generation, whoever watched this podcast, like, just be careful about playing year-round. Like, it's a good, like I said, cash flow-wise is good. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You're making money playing basketball, but if you're going to do that, you got to really, really take care of your body because, man,
Absolutely.
it's very
Um,
taxing.
but I guess one thing I thought the thing I had in my mind whenever I was doing it, just how I think you may feel the same way. You have a family,
Right.
and you have a family you have to look out for, and as a man,
Yes,
that's something
sir.
that's at the forefront of your mind. Um, while I don't have a family yet, the thing
Mm-hmm.
that's in my mind is I'm trying to start a family. Not having no kids yet, but I
About to
have
say, we
a
make an
I
announcement on the Tap Show
have
Live podcast.
I have a wedding that I have to that I'm looking to take care of. So
Right, right, right.
just things like that as a man, those are things I'm thinking of.
Yeah, man. I always think, I mean, stay in the moment. As I tell like the kids I train and just kids I coach, always stay in the moment, but you do have to think big picture. You know what I mean? Because
Mm,
it's a marathon, not a sprint. You feel me?
absolutely.
So, like you said, you've been playing 5 years overseas now. Well, five different seasons. It's hard to say years. I always say I always have a hard time calling it years or
Hmm.
seasons because like sometimes they can be short. But you got some
Uh,
experience on your belt. What do you enjoy most about playing basketball overseas?
what do I enjoy more? I think kind of how I mentioned earlier. There's a lot of brothers in situations where back in the States they don't even leave their city. They don't get a chance to leave their state. And I was born and raised in East St. Louis, and come high school, I moved to a different city, and then that's where my opportunities start growing. But
Mm-hmm.
I come back and visit my family in East St. Louis, and I still see some of the same people that I grew up with, and people who
Mm-hmm.
were out of school before when I was in elementary school. Still kind of doing that same routine, and on the
Mm-hmm.
same corner. I haven't really had a chance to leave the city, so I would say the biggest thing that I enjoy about playing overseas is getting the opportunity to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of
Yes.
a lot of a lot of Americans in general don't have their passports.
Yes.
So I'm one of the few, and I've got to see so many different cultures, experience so many different lifestyles, and make a lot of great connections.
Right.
And I think for me that's something I value. Like I enjoy the connections I make in life.
Hmm.
Having teammates. You may be in close contact with that person throughout your team. In
Hmm.
some, they may be lifelong.
Hmm.
Um, I know you remember Tom Bonnet, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's my guy
He's
too. Shout out to
he,
Tom
he,
Bonnet.
yeah, he's somebody who I talk to on a regular. Literally,
Yeah,
just text
yeah,
him a couple hours ago, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. But
yeah. He's a great guy,
it's
man.
he's a really good guy. But the experience in different cultures, seeing stuff I never thought I would see before, and just the connections that I make.
Hmm. No, I agree with you on that, man. I met so many amazing people overseas as well, and like you said, some are lifelong connections for like, and that's one of my high values too. But you hit it right on the head, man. Traveling, I didn't know how much you grow as a person when you travel. And like you said, I don't know why the culture back home in the States is for like most people not to have passports. I mean, I
Hmm.
guess if you go to Mexico or Canada, that's really our closest international countries.
Yeah,
And unless you got some money in your family, you don't really think about going to Europe for vacation. And
that's
I know I that wasn't in my parents and my family's radar to do that. So like I definitely didn't have a passport, and the only time I got a passport is when I signed my first contract to go play basketball in England. So yeah, but I think man, travel is so essential to human growth, bro, because you just get set. Like you said, you from East St. Louis, I'm from Atlanta.
yeah.
Every city, every town has their own culture, and when you grow up, living in that environment, it becomes a part of you. And
Hmm.
some people get attached to that culture and sometimes that environment. But sometimes after a while, it's not beneficial for you. And sometimes it can even become toxic situation for you to stay in that environment. And like playing basketball overseas, man, we have seen so many different cities that we never thought we were going to ever see in our lives. Like so many towns, villages. Like what city are you in Japan right now?
Right now, I'm in Tashikawa is pretty much Tokyo.
Yeah.
You know, I
But did you
never,
ever think you was gonna be there?
brother. Ever since I was little, ever since I had my first Game Boy Color, that was the first game console I ever owned. I was like, man, I don't know why, but I always wanted to visit Japan
Oh, that's
because
real. That's
that's
real.
Nintendo, originated in Japan. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
true.
that's just an empty dream. That'll never happen. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
here I am now.
Thanks to basketball, there you are now. So yeah, traveling, man, and just for everybody watching the podcast, try to get out your environment. Just because, like, seeing people like have a different culture but still accomplish the same things on a day-to-day basis, make you realize like it's more than one way to get the job done. You know what I mean? We can
Mm-hmm.
all coexist in this world, and we can all accept each other. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, man, you one of the few back to the basket players still doing it. You know what I mean? Doing your work inside. And I love that because, TAAP athletics, the TAAP and the whole name is the ancient art of the post up.
Yeah.
So, I make content. I try to post on like certain moves to use in the post and just how to be a better big man. So, like, uh, what are some keys to being a great post player? Because I feel like kids nowadays, I hate to sound like an old head, because I remember they were saying this when I was
Yeah.
growing up. Like, all the bigs just want to shoot three. They just want to be on perimeter. Because I was a fan of Kevin Garnett. And he
Mm-hmm.
had, like, pretty much the whole package. Cause post you up on the block, but also catch it, like, then that inside the three-point line, face you up and make a move, put it on the floor. You know what I mean? Play make. So, I would say more so with the post play, what's some of the keys, or just in general, what's some of the keys to being a great post player, bro?
Um, well, you say you grew up loving, idolizing Kevin Garnett.
Mm.
For me, the first player that I ever idolized was Shaq. Um,
Yes, sir.
Down the Big Diesel, and I really love watching him and a combination of him and Kobe. And then as I
Hmm.
got older and into basketball a little bit more, I liked Dwight Howard.
Right. Shout out to
But
Dwight. He from
it,
Atlanta too. Got to plug that
as,
in.
as you post, and I saw a couple of your posts, and I'm like, man, you're right.
Hmm.
Um, I think running the floor is a big one. You know,
Yes.
they a lot of people think traditional post players, they're big and they're slow, and sometimes I find myself getting in that mindset. And I'm thinking, no, can't do it. Got to have a high enough motor, man. If you're
Hmm.
tired, at least run your battery down, get a quick
Hmm.
sub, and get back in there. Um, because I think for my body type, right, I'm 6'10", roughly 275. And I feel like that's if you have a high motor, I feel like that's a lot for somebody else to handle. And
Mm-hmm.
you kind of mentioned that that there aren't that many traditional post players. Their post players are becoming a bit more slimmer.
Right.
They're kind of like fours trying to play the five.
Right.
And for somebody who's not really a traditional big, that's a lot for that's a lot for them to handle.
Right.
Just being active, trying to crash the boards, using your weight effectively.
Mm-hmm.
If it's one thing that somebody's taught me, Ryan Richards taught me how to throw your weight around effectively.
Mm.
Going against him in practice every day,
Yes, sir.
we're both pretty big people, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting up here getting tired trying to guard him because he's making it look like simple moves, and he's just freaking shifting his hips, and I'm like, bro, how?
Yeah.
Another key to being a good post player, I think, crashing the boards.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to box out first, then crash the boards, and not only just have that first hop, but have a second hop.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I'm a pretty okay shot blocker.
Right.
But one bad thing or bad habit that I find myself doing a lot is contesting a shot, blocking the shot, but expecting my teammates to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And they expect me to have that second jump to go back and get it. So it's like something I have to consciously think about. All right,
That's
you
big man
contested it.
problems, bro. That's a big man problem, bro. Yeah, it's
You
very
contested it. Go
frustrating.
back up and get the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, another key to being a good post player, good footwork. Um, and I'm saying this stuff, and I still fall victim to a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how many times I got called for a travel just because I got lazy on my footwork, or I picked up my pivot too early, or something of the sorts.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just I would say a last thing is just being able to have good core strength and like being able to like work your hips, because being able to control your space, control your body, control the man behind you, it all starts in the core and it all starts in your hips.
Yeah, 100%. Like, shout out to Ryan Richards, like you said. Like for him, he does a great job, like what you said, using your weight, using your hips. Because really, I feel like post play is all about positioning, and then
Yes.
mixed along with good footwork, like you talked about. Because I'm not the most physically, big guy, but I do like to, make up for by lifting weights and just trying to be strong up top. And yeah, that's my main thing. When I catch it, I always got to make at least a little bit of contact, lean my weight on you, and then make a quick move. You know what I mean? And that's helped me out so much. And then, like you said, crashing the glass, because a lot of times as bigs, we have to receive the pass from our guards. That's one of the most frustrating things about being a post player is that all our buckets basically come from somebody passing it into us, and sometimes they don't see us, or they do see us and still don't give us the ball, and we be wide open. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We the best option, and I feel like like I said, I don't want to be the old head. I know that the game is evolved, and I support it 100%. But I remember growing up, coaches were so adamant on passing the ball in before you even before the possession to start. We had to pass the ball in just to
Yes.
get things going, get things moving, and
Yep.
it just makes sense because it's a higher percentage shot. I know you're getting defended, but it's such a closer shot than taking a 3-pointer. And I know people watching this could say, well, you could combat with the 3-pointers because it's more points, and if you play at a faster pace, you can do that. But it just seemed like today it's just all threes, all threes. That's it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like you gotta have a balance and a combination of definitely outside shooting, but good post play as well. Because you could just straight dominate guys. I've seen it. I've done it myself. Like you said, if you got a big frame and you got like a wiry 4-man that's playing really 5, it could be a field day for you. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
yeah, those are some great keys, man. Like for all the young players listening, especially if you're a big man, don't be afraid to be physical. I feel like kids a little bit little bit timid to just throw their body around and hit somebody. It's not American football, it's not rugby, but at the same time, you gotta make your presence down there. You know what I mean? So, couple more questions. Like, what do you think of today's game? Like, just to transition from that, like, you think, all right, what do you think of today's game, and where you see it evolving from here? Because I never thought we would get here to the point where like teams jacking up team high records and 3-pointers and like I said, I'm not against the
Right.
style of play, but I'm just like, is the ancient art of the post up gonna be lost forever, or where you see it how do you think about it today, and how you see it evolving?
I well, like you said, I'm in full support of the game evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I think that's the only way to
Mm-hmm.
progress in life as well. You got to evolve. So I think
Mm-hmm.
I think that it should come to a point where the HR to post stuff. I don't think that should be lost, but I think that should be something that every big or every four or everybody who's above 6'5" and 6'6", I think that's something they should have in their back. I think they should be able to take it in the post as
Mm-hmm.
well as being able to hit that mid-range to 3-point shot. I guess me, how many threes have you seen me take in my career? Zero. These past out here in Japan, we play double headers every weekend. So
Mm-hmm.
we play every Saturday and every Sunday. And these past two games
Mm-hmm.
were the most threes I had ever taken in my life, and I kind of made it a
Oh,
point to because I've been working on them all practice,
right,
all season long since I've been here. I was like,
right.
man, you know what? I've been cashing in practice. Let me just try to attempt it in the game. And I was shocked whenever my teammates saw me in the corner wide open and they passed it to me without hesitation. And I was like, man, am I really this open? And unfortunately, I missed them in the game. But I was
Yeah.
still, it was like, okay, like it came to a point where I had to, expand my game to be able to knock down the 3-point shot.
You
Is it my comfort
motivated me
zone?
to maybe take one, because I haven't taken one all season either. And yeah, keep that thought. But like you said, bro, you kind of have to adapt. That's beneficial for not just basketball players, but if you can adapt and step out and knock down that three, you just add another, weapon to your game.
Yeah, and as a professional, and somebody who's trying to be a professional, that just makes you that little bit more, available. It adds that more value to your stock than maybe somebody else.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm in full support of the game evolving.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as players, you have to, as I said, you got to grow your bag. You got to have different weapons, different tools to be able to do different things in different situations.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. As far as like evolving, to be honest with you, I can't even predict it. I just thought about it in my head because like I just said, I never saw it coming to like we seeing Steph Curry shoot from the half court,
Yeah.
turning around while the ball's still in midair, throwing his hands up, and he's switching it. Like the game has truly changed. I think we will see a little bit of the mid-range game come back with guards. I don't think we're gonna see just a whole bunch of DeMar DeRozan sprout up,
Mm,
but I think with the guard game, that's the thing that's gonna keep evolving because everybody can't shoot threes. You know what I
mm,
mean? But I think feel like somebody's gonna wake up people to like maybe the defender, the guard defenders. Like you can still make a lane for yourself by shooting mid range, getting to that spot, pulling up, and then I think same with bigs. I think you definitely gonna see more playmaking bigs like the
mm.
Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, but I think in the future it will be an emergence of guys going back to the basket. It's just the way the times are now, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's funny, like you said, you took some threes finally, and I kind of see it's weird because like in life you definitely have to adapt to the times, and like me personally, like in the off season, like I've been with the Patriots now for 2 years now, so I haven't been really looking for a job. But before then it was like some teams on board with my game, but it was like, does he shoot threes?
Mm.
And they was like, no, he's not really a 3-point shooter. He's got nice mid range, great footwork in the post, but he's not a 3-point shooter. And they was like, kind of want a big that shoot threes. And like back in the, back when my rookie year started, that wasn't like a
Right.
requirement for teams to want as a big. Like they were just happy to have a maybe a small forward. If lucky, a power forward that can shoot threes, but that still wasn't a standard. But I feel like forwards now are definitely required to be able to step out, shoot a
Yep.
three, and now coaches are saying, "Hey, I want my 5 man to be a 3-point shooter as well."
Yeah.
So yeah, to in order to survive in the market, because it's guys graduating college every year, it's guys
Mm-hmm.
that's maybe 1 year removed from college, still hungry, and then you got guys that's overseas. There's so many of us playing basketball. That window to get a job is so small, and you got to really like beat out other players. So, like you said, throwing that 3-point shooting into your bag could be
Mm-hmm.
beneficial, and it might turn heads for you try to get a contract or try to re-sign for next year. You feel me? But
One
yeah,
thing, one thing I had saw, and like I said, I watch your post religiously. But one thing that I saw that
appreciate you.
I do live by as well is like you like you said, you got to be able to pass well out of the post.
Mm-hmm.
Here I would say here in this league, there almost every time I catch it
Mm-hmm.
collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
You got two, maybe three guys collapsing on you, and
Mm-hmm.
the guards here, the twos and the threes, they're very very small and they're very quick.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to pass out, I say I probably average about 2.5 assists per game because I see them collapsing and I just give up my trying to they say being a black hole,
Mm-hmm.
not being a black hole and giving my opportunity up to give up or have us get a three.
Mm. I'm so glad you brought that up because I value passing so much in basketball
Mm-hmm.
because just back when I remember I remember coming home from school in middle school and we had a subscription to Sports Illustrated. This was before the internet was big. This is like
Mm-hmm.
around 2001, 2002, and really mail and magazines were the big thing, like basketball magazines, Slam, and all that stuff. Sports Illustrated. And I always used to like love every Tuesday Sports Illustrated come in the mail. I
Mm-hmm.
used to love just seeing who was going to cover and just what they were going to be talking about. And I always remember it was a professional athlete always on the cover. And then one Tuesday I came home, I opened the mail, and it's this kid with like a gold jersey and a basketball. And I'm like, on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I'm like, who is this?
Uh-huh.
And I'm reading, it says, the chosen one, LeBron James. And so, like, he's ready to go to the NBA now, something like that, paraphrasing.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, who is this dude? So I go in the house, I read it, and they was like, yeah, he's ready to jump to the NBA. He could be the first #1 overall pick. And I'm like, dang, I never seen a high school player on the cover of a magazine, let alone be talked about like this. And then I read along, they said he's a junior. I said, a junior in high school that's getting this type of height? But
Yeah.
what I'm going with this is when I first seen him play on that ESPN, everybody's seen the clips now. It was his passing that stood out more than anything. Like, of
Mm-hmm.
course, his size. He was a man amongst boys. But I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't believe somebody that tall, that big, that fast was dropping dimes like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's why Magic Johnson is so revered and just Nikola Jokic winning back-to-back MVPs because he could drop dimes. And that not all basketball players can do that. And, like,
Mm-hmm.
for the post players, especially the young post players watching this, passing is a big key to being a great post player as well. Because, like you said, I myself become black holes at times because I'm so efficient in the paint. Even
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give myself some credit to my own horn. I'm leading the league in field goal percentage this year, and
Mm-hmm.
so I feel comfortable like making moves, even when I see a double team coming, because I know when to get a shot off and stuff like that. But I've been telling myself, like watching film, I have to get my teammates involved
Mm-hmm.
because especially like the last couple of months, they've been sending double teams heavy on me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? And like sometimes I'm like, oh, just turn it quickly and just fade away and shoot this shot real quick. But then I have to say, all right, that's not the right shot. Get your
Yeah.
teammates involved. And then most times when I do kick it out, either I get the assist or they
Mm-hmm.
swing the ball around, the guard penetrate and dish it off to me, and I get the bucket anyway. So
Yeah.
it's like almost a win-win from kicking out in the post. And if you're going to dominate the post, you have to expect double teams because they definitely coming for sure. But
Absolutely.
yeah, last couple of questions I asked you. What you think about the league you playing in right now? How is it out there? How's your season going?
So I came in very late.
Mm-hmm.
When I came in, I only had about 2 months left,
Mm-hmm.
and and now I'm at a point where we only got 4 games left. We got 2 games this weekend, and then 2 games this upcoming weekend, and 2 games the following weekend, and
Mm-hmm.
then season's over. But I came in pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
The league itself, it took a little bit of adjusting to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the refs are used to me yet. A lot of what they call fouls on me is, oh, I wish I could play like clips in the middle of
I
this, but
believe it. I see you out there, man. You look like a giant amongst little trolls, man.
it's
I know you. They treat you like Shaq, probably. Like then you probably getting beat up in the post, and they just letting everything slide.
man. Every I can they can have their hand on me trying to control me, but every time I just wall up and it looks like I just shift a little bit, it's a foul on a shooter. But I think that just comes with, you know what I mean, trying to learn the player. But
Yeah.
I'm still fairly new in this league, but I would love to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very fast paced. There's very good talent here.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese players, they're very very quick.
Yeah.
I learned that out the hard way because first couple of games I'm taking one dribble and getting the ball swatted away because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not realizing how quick they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say one thing that I personally don't agree with, but I got to get used to it because it is what it is. I don't. It's the step that you have to take, or that you have to dribble before you can step.
Oh man, I struggle with that as well, man.
Yeah,
Cause
it's
go ahead,
just
go ahead.
yeah, that's all it is. It's just getting my footwork right so I can avoid travels. But other than that, the league is nice. The
Mm-hmm.
the the level of competition is nice, and the organizations themselves are really nice.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome, but yeah, that's another thing I want to highlight, man. For a lot of people, especially kids growing up in the States, that are post players that do have good footwork, you know, I don't know, definitely work on those rip through moves, but learn how to just catch it and put the ball on the floor first, a little couple crowd dribble, pound dribbles, and then make a nice move out of it. Because I
Mm-hmm.
struggle with that as well. When I went to Savannah State, man, I learned that's where I really, really learned the ancient art of post up. Like the moves I use today are all the moves I learned from Savannah State, and a lot of that was like face up and rip through below your knees and make one dribble and lay the ball in. And like really, that's my one of my favorite moves to go to and use.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily in England, they let you get away with it. But almost everywhere I played in, they call that rip through below your knees. And it's very frustrating because that's what they teach us back home in the States.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like they almost got a one up on you, like the post players who grew up outside the States because they know the rules and that's how it is for them. But yeah, that's one of the adjustments. Definitely playing basketball overseas for a post player. But yeah, man. Last question. Like I said, man, appreciate you joining the show. It's been great chopping it up with you, catching up with you, bro. I'm happy for you. I'm always gonna be in your corner,
Likewise.
whether what I'm saying you see me in person or not. What advice would you give to a young person who wants to become a professional basketball player or just be successful in general?
I would say, what advice? Um, I would say, like, don't give up. Everybody has a dream, and no matter what your dream is, it's special to you. Um, there may be some people in your life who say, oh, that's thinking too big. Nothing's ever too big. Um,
Mm-mm.
Dreams are big, and they're big for a reason, but everything's achievable. Um, you never know who's watching you, so play like the president's watching you. Um, and that goes for all the young people and even some older people. You never know who's tuning in. You never know who may be watching your game, or who may be flicking through channels and they just so happen to hear your name. The announcers call your name or something. Um, and work hard, work your butt off, because if you don't work, there are 10, 20, 30 other kids who are working. You ever think about taking that day off because you're tired? There are, again, 10, 20, 30 other kids who won't take that day off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I would say those are three big things I would give.
Appreciate it, brother. Hey, I really appreciate it and I just chime in on that. I would say work ethic for sure. No days off cut out all distractions. That party ain't that important.
Oh
You know
my
what I
God.
mean? That little two-month relationship, that girlfriend, that little wishy-washy. Don't If you know it ain't gonna work out in the end, don't worry too much about it. You know what I mean? Get your grades so you
Man,
can stay eligible. Uh,
absolutely.
but cut out all distractions. If it ain't
Oh,
putting you in the direction of you achieving your goal, you don't need to be doing it. Work no days off. And then just like you said, think big, dream big. Like, don't let these people tell you you cannot do it, because you can 100%, man. Because just like you, I had a little struggle to becoming a professional basketball player, and all of us did. But look at us. We never gave up, and we prevailed anyway. So
absolutely.
never give up. Think big. You know what I'm saying? If it scares you of accomplishing that goal, then that's a good enough, big enough dream, and you just gotta work towards it every single day, and eventually you're gonna get there. So,
Mhm.
yeah, man, that's the Tap Show podcast conclusion. I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes,
Keep doing
sir.
your thing. I'm happy for you, man. You got anybody you want to shout out before we go?
Uh, Shout out my fiance Paige. You know, she's a big supporter. Um, and shout out to everybody who tuned in. I
Big
love it.
facts. Big facts, man. Hey, I'm here for you. Keep doing your thing. Punish them boys in the post. Dunk on them. Get that nice little soft baby hook. Keep cooking.
Yes,
And
sir.
I appreciate that. I'll holler at you next time, bro.
All right, boss.
All right,
Peace.
peace, man.